the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have you seated? Please call roll.
Ms. Conrad Zengmeister?
Here.
Mr. Hoffman?
Here.
Ms. Johns?
Here.
Mr. Kimmer?
Here.
Mr. Smeltzer?
Here.
All present. Now moving on to minutes. If you all had a chance to review the minutes and haven't, if there's no comments or questions, I need a motion to approve the minutes as they stand.
So moved.
Mr. Hoffman makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Kimmer seconds.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Zengmeister?
Yes.
Ms. Johns?
Yes.
Mr. Smeltzer?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to adjustments to the agenda. Are there going to be any adjustments?
No adjustments at this time.
Adjustments. Okay, moving on to item number 2, information and discussion. On to superintendent's update. Mr. Belleville.
Good evening. Welcome. I'll start by apologizing a little bit for background noise, but it's a great thing when August hits and kids are back on campus and a lot of things happening in the districts. We have volleyball scrimmage happening in the gym this evening, and we might catch a little bit of the noise coming from the gym, but it's one of those type of things that it's kind of music to your ears whenever you hear the kids going and activity starting. You know that the school year's close behind, so we're excited about that. Ms. Roberts wanted me to pass along her apologies for not being here. Family vacation scheduled for this week, so we're jealous of her tonight, and but we'll soldier through, and I'll do the best I can in her absence. So, a few items on the agenda I want to touch on as we get started. We have a couple of new hires. Mr. Hartley is here this evening with us, so I'll talk a little bit more about Mr. Hartley when we get to that point in the agenda. We also have Scott Robinette. He'll be replacing Charlie Roberts, who resigned to take another position outside of education, and Heath Grubb, who is basically filling Marcia Pugh's position from her retirement, but we had a little shuffling of positions, so Mr. Grubb will actually be working night shift at Bremen Elementary School. Mr. Robinette will be doing day shift at Rushville Middle School for Charlie Roberts. And then Dave Getz, who was the night shift at Bremen, will slide into Marcia Pugh's spot, bouncing back and forth between the middle school, the high school, and taking care of the stadium, weight room, activity center, those things. So a little bit of shuffle there, but when we get to Mr. Hartley, we do want to talk about him this evening with him being here, so we'll touch on that a little bit more. Also on the agenda this evening, there is a policy revision that I would ask the board to consider waiving a first reading and just considering that policy for acceptance tonight. And what it is addressing the personal days of our classified staff. In our contract negotiations this year, we awarded teachers 4 personal days, and if they didn't use all of their personal days, they could carry 1 over to the next year for a total of 5 in that following year. Our classified staff has had 4 personal days for quite some time, but they didn't have the provision of being able to carry 1 over. So the policy revision that I would ask you to consider this evening is simply bringing the classified staff into alignment with our teaching staff, which has been our past practice for many years. So kind of an oversight when we approved the new negotiated agreement. I forgot to go back and revise the board policy governing our classified staff and their personal leave. So really, should have brought this to you sooner, but with the school year starting and us being past August 1st, that's why I'm asking to waive the first reading and consider that. So anything else on the agenda as we get through it I may jump in and add some clarification, or I can answer questions as we get going. I want to remind board members and remind our staff, August 13th is our staff breakfast. We'll have new staff back, or new staff in our buildings this Thursday. So new staff orientation will be Thursday and Friday. And then the rest of the staff comes on Monday the 12th. On Monday the 12th, teachers work in their classrooms all day long. We really don't do any professional development that day. And then August 13th, we'll have the staff breakfast at 7:30 a.m. here in the high school cafeteria. And then we have a day of professional development lined up for staff members on the 13th and 14th. And then August 15th, we'll have kids back in and in the classrooms, and we'll be off and running. So it's coming quick. I want to remind our community, back to school nights are coming up. Bremen and Pleasantville Elementary, back to school nights will be Monday, August 12th from 4:30 to 8:30. And then Fairfield Union High School and Rushville Middle School will have their back to school nights on Tuesday, August 13th. And again, that would run from 4:30 to 8:30. So we'll have those going on. Just a lot of excitement building up as our fall sports teams are getting ramped up. I was out watching the band the other day. They're marching 91 kids right now, and just an impressive number. We haven't been that high in quite a while, so they're looking good, sounding good. Looking forward to their first show. We have all those events upcoming. Any questions on the back to school information or the staff breakfast on Tuesday? If anyone's free, we'd love to have you there. That's always a great morning of fellowship and being together, so we're excited for that. I do want to inform everyone, athletic ticket pricing, we released that this week. Adult tickets stayed the same, $7 for high school events, $5 for middle school events, and then we did lower our student ticket prices to $3. And that is for not only Fairfield Union students, but any students from visiting schools will also be $3. And that's every other school. I think in the MSL it's $7 for students to attend. So we did lower that. I know there's been a lot of discussion and talk about schools moving to free tickets for students. In every situation that I've heard of and seen, that usually has some sort of corporate sponsorship with it. Someone making a donation or multiple businesses making donations to athletic departments to cover the expense of those tickets. We haven't taken that approach yet. Our community does a tremendous job of donating every time any group, organization, or the district needs something. So I was very hesitant to go hit up businesses again for more donations. And we really have no historical information or historical data about what would be the financial impact of going to completely free student tickets. With student tickets being $7 in the past, the same as adults, we really have no information on all the tickets sold, what were students and what were adults. So we are going to track this for a year. We dropped down to $3. We'll see how many total students we get in the gates this year, because we can track the difference between the 3 and the 7. Then at the end of the year, we'll be able to make a determination of really what is that financial impact and what would we need as far as donations to perhaps go to free tickets for students. To kind of help bridge that gap, we know going from $7 a student down to $3 for home and away students is going to create a financial impact. So we were a little bit concerned about a potential shortfall in the athletic department, but just want to give a little shout out to our athletic boosters. When we were considering dropping ticket prices, they said, hey, if the athletic department is potentially could run short due to lowering tickets, we'll make a donation to the athletic department to help offset cost that the athletic department has, but with that absence of money, we'll make a donation. So we're just very blessed to have booster groups so supportive of our district and our programs. So a thank you to the athletic boosters for making a financial contribution to the athletic department. The boosters will be at an upcoming board meeting, so I don't want to get into the amount of their donation yet. I want to let them have that moment to talk about what donation they're going to make whenever they present. I'm hoping maybe at the next board meeting, but it'll be very soon. We'll have the athletic boosters at a meeting to present to the board. So again, ticket prices be $7 for adults for high school events, $5 for middle school events. All students home and away will be $3 high school and middle school. We do have the 10-game adult pass where you get a little bit of a discount there. And then we did eliminate the 10-game student pass. Those passes were $40 at $3 a game. Over 10 games, that'd be $30, so it really didn't make much sense to have the student 10-game pass. However, we will honor student passes from last year. If students bought a 10-game pass, they've only used 2 or 3 of their 10 games, and they'll have 7 that they can use this year, and we do honor those passes carrying over into this year. So a little update on ticket pricing there. Kind of a caveat, and I'll have a larger presentation for the board next board meeting. On July 24th, a flurry of legislative movement happened. Several bills were passed and sent to the governor for signature, and he did sign those. So we have a large contingency of legislative action that will go into effect 90 days from July 24th. Part of what will go into effect is involving ticket pricing. So we know the mid-state leagues are going to have to change some things, but state legislation now requires that schools offer a cash option. If they want to offer online purchasing, they can. They don't have to, but they have to have the cash option. We've always had that, so very happy that we've been ahead of the curve on that. But the second piece that just got passed and just got signed into legislation is schools cannot make cash option more expensive than the online option. The online and cash option have to be the same amount, although schools can pass along the credit card fee for an online purchase. So online tickets may be more expensive than cash after passing along that fee, but several schools in the state were making the cash option more expensive, trying to force people to the online because when you get into auditing tickets and handling cash, it is cleaner to do an online purchasing system, but we've always felt that having that cash option is just appropriate for our community, and we do receive a lot of compliments and a lot of thank yous for offering that cash option, so we'll continue to do that. But next board meeting, I'll have a little bit larger legislative update. Update on construction improvements around the district. All 4 chillers are up and running. Training has been through to run their startup, so we're in good shape there. We feel very positive about that. The units dedicated to the kitchens should wrap up late this week, early next week, so our kitchens will be in much better shape to start the school year, so we're excited about that. All the paving projects are finished. Lots have been sealed at Bremen and Pleasantville. We did a final walkthrough at the Pleasantville pool today, and that work has wrapped up. There's just a couple punch list items to clean up, but nothing major, so all of that work is done. We do have one small project ongoing that kind of popped up late here in the summer, and that is right outside the bus garage. The oil trap right there, we're needing to do some work in that area. I can get once we have a scope of work and we figure out what all needs to be done, I'll report that back. But we had Pipeworks on site today working to clean that up. We're just not getting proper drainage coming out of the bus garage, so they're getting that addressed as quickly as possible before the start of school. So we are hopeful that will be completed. The press box at the stadium is just about finished. They were finishing up flooring in the visiting coaches section of the press box. I told them that was no concern, just leave it half done, be fine. Maybe paint the walls pink or something, who knows. But no, that project should be finished this week, and really it turned out nice. The air conditioning up there has been much needed for years, having all the windows replaced so we can see, and then the flooring needed replacement. Actually, once we started pulling up the old flooring, we found multiple soft spots in the underlayment. So it was really kind of a blessing that we took this on because they, especially right around the doorways, there were a couple spots that if somebody was stepping on it just right, they would have gone through. So that needed to be addressed, and want to say thank you to Aaron Carroll, Elevated Integrity. They've done a great job on that, and as these little things have popped up, just unforeseen things, they've jumped right in and found solutions and fixed them on the fly, so we appreciate that. And when we're finished board meeting night, if you want to peek in the gym, Farley Floors redid our gym floor here at the high school, and it is really sharp. I think it looks very nice. They also resurfaced the middle school floor, just put a new coat down, and then next summer we'll look at redoing the middle school gym floor, much like we did the high school gym floor this year. So a lot of things have been going on. It has been a very busy summer. Kudos to Matt Smith and his team, all the maintenance staff in the buildings, our maintenance team in the buildings. The floors are shining bright and looking good, and we're just about ready to kick off the school year, so we're excited for that. And again, as a reminder, Thursday, August 15th, buses will be rolling and classroom doors will be open, so it's coming quick. That's all I have for this evening. Any questions? All right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Belleville. Moving on to recognition of visitors. I don't believe we have any.
No, ma'am.
Consent agenda section. First item underneath that is workshops and conferences. I will go ahead and call those out, and then we can move on to the next section. So we have a donation by the Fraternal Order of Policy Forest Roads Lodge number 50 Memorial Fund of $300 to 6th grade teachers and $300 to the Rushville Middle School technology class. And then under number 2, which Mr. Belleville can also speak more to this, we have a high school back to school bonanza donations. There's a varsity letterman jacket that's been donated by Herf Jones and Kay Thompson.
Kirk Thompson is our representative for Herf Jones. And just real quick, Mr. McPhail and Mr. Schaefer have really wanted to try to find ways to get high school students to be more involved in our back to school night. At our elementary schools, there's always great involvement by the kids and parents and excitement to meet their teachers. Middle school, you always have really strong turnout from especially 5th graders and their parents going to a new building, figuring out how to work lockers, and you really get a lot of the older kids coming in because they want to put stuff in their lockers and get in the building. And once we get to the high school, it's always kind of been a lull in getting students to come back, getting parents to be here. So Mr. Schaefer and Mr. McPhail put together a back to school night. The Falcon's Nest will be here with a food truck. They're going to have raffles for students. If the students come and do a scavenger hunt where they're getting around all of their classes, the teachers will have student groups set up. So here in the cafeteria, for example, the Key Club will have a table set up to where students can meet the sponsor of the Key Club or National Honor Society, you know, all of our student groups. So trying to get students more involved that way. You go through these things, you enter into a raffle, and these are the some of the donations that have come in that will be raffled off for the students. They pick up their schedules and go through the process, and they'll be eligible to have a ticket drawn and win some really nice prizes. So kudos to Mr. McPhail, Mr. Schaefer for getting this organized and set up and really trying to get students involved quickly. Sorry to interrupt there, just wanted to explain it a little bit.
Perfect. I was going to ask you what the whole high school back to school program was all about, so yeah, thank you. And then moving on, with that said, we'll just move on to the financial items. So I did miss workshop and conferences. So yes, I skipped over to the financial items. My computer's acting slow. So anyways, workshops and conferences, we will call out this as well. Taryn Anderson to the August 2024 serves a manager course for August 27th and 28th at the Lincoln County Public Library. There's also Amy Nolan who's going to be to the Q2 OASBO Treasures /CFO Playing Series August 16th. That's going to be virtual. And then Tanya Nuss to the 2024 Ohio Education Data Systems Association Conference in Columbus.
All three of these conferences are normal conferences that we send people to every year.
Start with the first aid manager course.
The Taryn Anderson was at the middle school, and she's coming to the high school to take over for Missy Morgan as head cook.
Okay.
So this is a really just a PD for her in being a head cook and how to run the kitchen and just kind of a refresher of all the things that go into running a kitchen. Miss Browning just felt like it would be a good experience for her. Taryn filled in for Miss Baker at the middle school last year and did an incredible job at filling in, but she didn't do that until after the year started. So she's really never had being the head cook in the kitchen. So this is just a professional development for her. Yeah, good question. Good question.
If I have more questions, motion to approve the consent agenda items as recommended by the superintendent.
So moved.
Mr. Schultz makes a motion, and someone a second.
I'll second.
Mr. John seconds.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Johns,
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Zingmaster,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes. Motion passes. Moving on to new business section. Right under that is motion to approve the resignation of Brenda Day as the bus driver effective July 21st, 2024.
We had just hired Miss Detty right towards the end of the school year, and unfortunately, she was involved in an automobile accident over the summer. And she's doing well, and we obviously keep her in our prayers and wish her a speedy recovery. But she said she just didn't feel like she was ready to get behind the wheel and be responsible for kids, and so kind of a salute to her character that she is, it might not be best that I'm driving kids, so she offered to resign her position. So again, hope she has a speedy recovery, and maybe we'll be able to convince her to come back at some point.
Motion on
So moved.
motion, I will second.
Mr. Kimmer? Yes. Ms. Conrad Zingmaster?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman? Yes. Mr. John? Ms. Johns, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to 5.2, the resignation of Darla Thomas as a high school cook effective August 1st, 2024.
Pretty straightforward. Darla was at the point that she was ready to step away, and we wish her the best in her retirement. And obviously hate to lose her, but wish her well. She can spend more time with the grandbabies and those type of things. So.
Motion on the floor. Mr. Hoffman's motion, need someone to second?
Second.
Mr. Smelter seconds.
Mr. Hoffman? Yes. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Zingmaster?
Yes.
Ms. Johns?
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to 5.3, support service contracts. Motion to approve a one-year support service contract for Scott Robinette as assistant maintenance employee beginning July 22nd, 2024. Again, you mentioned this earlier.
Yep. It'll be day shift at Rushville Middle School.
There are no other comments, any motion, or questions, any motion on the floor?
So moved.
Jones makes a motion, I will second.
Ms. Johns?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Singmeister?
Yes.
Mr. Smelter?
Yes.
Mr. Cameron? Yes. Mr. Hoffman?
Yes. Motion passes. Moving on to 5.4, support service contract for 1 year. Support service contract for Heath Love as assistant maintenance employee beginning July 29, 2024.
And he'll be night shift at Bremen Elementary School.
Motion on the floor. Mr. Hackenberg makes a motion, I need someone to second. Mr. Hoffman seconds.
Mr. Cameron? Yes. Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Ms. Johns?
Yes.
Mr. Smelter?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Singmeister?
Yes. The motion passes. Moving on to 5.5, support service contract, to approve a 1 year support service contract for Joshua Hartley as a bus driver beginning 2024-2025 school year.
You know, we talk about it often that things happen in this district and you start worrying about, all right, what are we going to do? And then somehow, some way, we always not only end up being okay, but actually come out much better on the other end. And I'll be honest, when Miss Detty had to resign her bus driver position, knowing the state of trying to find bus drivers in general, we've had a bus driver position posted all summer trying to fill these spots, and we never have had a full staff. And then out of nowhere, just an answered prayer, Mr. Hartley has a vast wealth of experience as a bus driver. He's worked for Reynoldsburg City Schools, most recently Logan Hocking, and everyone we talked to just rave reviews. Just does a tremendous job with kids, has an incredible temperament, right approach, kid-centered, and just all the things we talk about in this district that are important to us. He is the embodiment of it. He has shown every step of the way, every job he's ever had, every district he's ever worked for, taking the most difficult of situations and the most difficult of kids and really working to make it the best possible scenario. And we are extremely blessed to be able to find someone of this caliber this late in the game. Do want to say thank you to Monty Boehner, superintendent at Logan Hocking, for being willing to release Mr. Hartley from his contract after July 10th to help us out. You know, it's just one of those, I'm excited to bring you on board, Mr. Hartley. The interview, you kind of going through the interview, and I'm looking at Dean Rary and trying to, you know, kind of like, I mean, let's just stop the interview and let's offer him the job. It's, you know, it's too good to be true almost. So, just the interview was amazing. We had a great conversation. Really, it's one of those that the interview kind of stopped and we just started having a great conversation about kids in general and being there for kids and the support for them, those sorts of things. So we were really blessed to be able to bring him on board and have him as a member of our staff. Mr. Hartley, anything you'd like to say?
Your staff here and giving all the contributions that I can give.
All right. Well, I need a motion on the floor to.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Smeltzer?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Zingmeister?
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Ms. Johns?
Yes.
Hartley, welcome. Congratulations. It's great to have you on board.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
You're more than welcome to stay or you can leave. Sure.
Mr. Hartley, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
All right. Moving on to personnel services supplemental contracts. We have a list of them down below here. There are no questions or comments made. I need a motion to approve the personnel service supplemental contracts as presented.
So moved.
Tom makes the motion.
I'll second.
John seconds.
Mr. Hoffman? Yes. Ms. Johns?
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Smeltzer?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Zingmeyer?
Yes. Motion passes. 5.7, extended duty contracts. As Mr. Cottrell mentioned briefly earlier. Motion to approve the supplemental extended duty contracts for 2024-2025 school year as presented. If there are no other comments or questions.
These are the same as last year with one exception. Number 4, Tessa Gossett. She will be full-time guidance counselor at the middle school this year. So she worked half-time last year. We did make the move to make her full-time this year. We're excited to have her on board. She just did an incredible job last year. Having that female guidance counselor that can be there for those students at that age level. And Mr. Funk, has always done a great job there at the middle school, but having a female there for our young ladies in the middle school, I think it was a tremendous addition last year, and we're lucky to have her. So I would recommend we approve.
I need a motion to approve. Mr. Kimber makes the motion.
I'll second.
Smelter seconds.
Mr. Kimmer? Yes. Just noticed a typo on there. Sorry about that. We'll let Christy know her punishment is extended days. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Conrad?
Yes. Motion passes.
All the others?
Yeah.
And correct. Okay, stop and correct.
Moving on to 5.8, substitute teachers list. Again, we need a motion to approve the substitute teachers list as presented. If there are any questions or comments, it's always very appreciative to all positions, especially substitute teachers list as well as bus driver.
Ms. Conrad Zingmeyer? Mr. Hoffman? Ms. Johns? Mr. Cameron? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Johns? Ms. Conrad? Mr. Hoffman? Mr. Cameron? Mr. Smeltzer? These are just some dates. The original handbook we had did not have our club sports listed in it. So revise the handbook it is out now. The club sports, but we're just going to bring that back forward for official formality. Ms. Johns?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman? Yes. Mr. Cameron? Yes. Mr. Smeltzer?
Yes.
Conrad Zingmeyer? We had a staff member go from SERS to STRS. And every day that move like that, you have to be into STRS and cover that move. So this is just an agreement to cover that move for the staff member from SERS to STRS. Pretty straightforward. Mr. Payne has signed off on it as well, so and I can answer any other question, but really it's a procedural move.
All right, there are no comments or questions. I need a motion on the floor to approve the settlement agreement release and waiver of claims and back payment to STRS as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Hoffman makes a motion. I need someone to second.
I'll second.
Ms. Johns seconds.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mrs. Johns,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Zangmeister,
Yes,
Mr. Kimmer,
Yes.
Mr. Smelter.
Yes.
motion passes. Moving on to 5.12, 24-2025 bus routes. Need a motion on the floor to approve the bus routes as presented for the 2024-2025 school year.
I do want to say a quick thank you to Deanna Throckmorton and Dean Rary for all their hard work on these bus routes. That is a huge undertaking, so do appreciate their hard work on that.
Yes, it is. Very much so. Need a motion on the floor.
Sorry. Do they have a system that helps them with that?
Yes.
Because I can't imagine
Yeah.
trying to do that.
A few years ago, I think it might have been Barb Gaston's last year, we purchased a bus routing system, and it has been a godsend. But up until probably the last 4 or 5 years, it was all done by hand and using a map and just looking at addresses. So it was a process.
So when you get what if you get a new family coming in the school district and they're not aware of the one view, or they have to sign their,
That's part of the registration pack. Whenever they come to the schools to register, the bus routing system that we use has its own kind of online thing and an app that parents can track where their kids are and that type of thing through the routing system. So whenever a new student comes in, their address gets entered into the bus routing software. It points them to the bus that they should be on, and then through our secretaries, guidance counselors, the transportation information is relayed to the parents.
and then it automatically takes people off if you don't get those forms back saying they don't need any, the ones that have decided
if
to
they-
drive themselves to school, for instance, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Within OneView, like every parent to enroll their kid has to get into OneView. They don't have an
Okay.
option, they have to.
Yeah.
So whether they do it in the office with us or they do it at home, that process has to happen, and all the transportation stuff is in OneView.
Yeah.
So if their child isn't driving or doesn't need a bus, then you note that in OneView, and that information gets distributed to Dean and Deanna, and then they do all their magic on the back end with the routing system, and then we let the parent know where they're, if they do have a bus, what bus it is, what time, roughly what time it'll be there to pick up and drop off. And then if they don't, then we just don't enter them into that routing software.
All right. We need a motion to approve the bus routes as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Smeltzer makes a motion. I need someone to second.
I'll second.
Mr. Kimmer seconds.
Mr. Smelter,
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer,
Yes.
Ms. Johns,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Zingmeister.
Yes. Motion passes. Moving on to 5.13, resolution 2024-003 Meta Bus Bid. This is a motion to approve the resolution number 2024-003 to advertise and receive bids for the purchase of conventional school buses and vans. Do you have any
This does not lock us into buying anything. It's just us saying, yes, we want the bids to come in, so if we want to buy something, we have access to the meta pricing.
Okay. All right, I need a motion on the floor.
So moved.
Ms. Johns makes a motion.
Second.
And Mr. Smelter seconds.
Ms. Johns,
Yes.
Mr. Smelter,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Zingmeister,
Yes,
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer.
Yes.
motion passes. Moving on to 5.14, policy revision. Motion to waive the first reading and approve revisions to policy GDBC-R, classified staff fringe benefits as presented.
And
Right.
again, just having our classified staff match our certified staff.
So I need a motion on the floor if there are no comments or questions.
So moved.
Mr. Hoffman makes a motion. I will second.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Zingmeister,
Yes.
Ms. Johns,
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer,
Yes.
Mr. Smelter.
Yes.
Motion passes. 5.15, contract procurement checklist. This is a motion to approve the purchase of a backup server from Tecaio at a cost of $23,352.51. If there are any questions or comments, if there are none, I need a motion on the floor to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Kimmer makes the first motion. I need someone to
Second.
second. Mr. Smelter seconds.
Mr. Kimmer,
Yes.
Mr. Smelter,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Zingmeister,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Ms. Johns.
Yes.
And the motion passes. Moving on to 6.1, to adjourn to executive session. Will there be any action?
No action coming up.
Okay. So I need a motion to adjourn to executive session. As
So moved.
Ms. Johns makes a motion. I will second.
Ms. Johns,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad Zingmeister,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer,
Yes.
Mr. Smelter.
Yes.
We are adjourned at 7:43.